Welcome to another edition of Everything and the Truth, hosted by yours truly Verse. First and foremost, I want to start things off by expressing a huge amount of thanks to each and every one of you guys that have followed the newly created social media pages and as well subscribe to the YouTube channel Everything and the Truth. I can't thank you enough for joining in this little community of ours that we shall continue to grow. With that said, let us jump into the first segment, Talk of the Town. The Dutch government is allocating 150 million euros to the islands of Aruba, Curacao, and St. Martin for the stimulation of sustainable energy production and climate transition. Out of the 150 million euros, 62.9 million will be going to Curacao, 53.6 million to Aruba, and 33.46 million for St. Martin. This is definitely baby steps in the right direction towards sustainable energy production and, more importantly, to alleviate the larger community where it matters the most, and that is in their pockets. In this edition of Caribbean Chronicles, we're going to be taking a look at Guyana, where a recent study published in the Nature Food has revealed that Guyana is the only nation among 186 that achieves full self-sufficiency in food production. This simply means that the country's agricultural output is sufficient to meet the nutritional needs of its population without reliance on imports. The CARICOM Vision 25 by 2025 initiative aims to reduce the Caribbean's food import bill, with Guyana, the region's breadbasket, leading the effort. Now you might ask yourself, how is Guyana achieving food security? Guyana's progress is underpinned by the government's aggressive investment in the agriculture sector. Since 2020, budgetary allocations have surged by approximately 468%. As we dive in today's global scope, we're going to take a look at Ibrahim Traoré. President Ibrahim Traoré is a Burkinabe military officer and politician who has served as the interim president of Burkina Faso since 2022. At just age 37, he is the second youngest head of state in the world. During his tenure, Traoré has sought to distance the country from its former colonial power, France, and played an instrumental role in founding the Alliance of Sahel States. Here are a few of the things that he's done in just 2 years as the country's president. Burkina Faso's GDP grew from approximately 18.8 billion to 22.1 billion. He reduced the salaries of ministers and parliamentarians by 30% and increased the salaries of civil servants by 50%. He stopped the export of unrefined Burkina Faso gold to Europe. He prioritized agriculture by distributing over 400 tractors, over 200 tillers, 710 motor pumps, and 714 motorcycles to boost production and support rural stakeholders. He's provided access to improved seeds and other farm inputs to maximize agricultural output. Rice production has increased. Millet production has increased. He expelled French troops from Burkina Faso. His government is constructing new roads, widening existing ones, and upgrading gravel roads to paved surfaces. So now you know, on the global scope, that President Ibrahim Traoré is bringing change to Africa. In this edition of Once Upon a Time, we're sticking with St. Martin history. Now we're going to take a look back at what happened between the 18th and 19th century. During the 18th and 19th centuries, to work the new cotton, tobacco, and sugarcane plantations, the French and Dutch began importing large numbers of African slaves who soon came to outnumber the Europeans. The slave population quickly grew larger than that of the landowners. Subjected to cruel treatment, slaves staged rebellions, and their overwhelming numbers made it impossible to ignore their concerns. Now in 1848, the French did abolish slavery in their colonies, including the French side of Saint Martin. Slaves on the Dutch side of the island, however, protested and threatened to flee to the French side, many of them doing so. Eventually, the local authorities just freed the slaves. While the decree was respected locally, it was not until 1863 when the Dutch abolished slavery in all of their island colonies, and then the slaves became legally free. In this edition of This Can Be Life, we got two stories for you guys today. Now, peep this. In the first story, you know how sometimes the death row prisoners, they ask them, what do you want for your last meal? What are your last words? Etc., etc. Well, this particular gentleman didn't want a meal. He didn't want to eat. He didn't want steak. He didn't want his favorite food. None of that. He simply wanted a cigarette. Just a cigarette. And the officials refused to give him a cigarette. Why? They were concerned for his health. Yeah. They were concerned for his health. And just a few hours later, they electrocuted him. Have you ever heard about Mike the Headless Chicken? If you haven't, here's the story. Mike the Headless Chicken lived to about 18 months after he was beheaded. Now, he only survived because most of his brain stem remained intact and did not bleed to death due to a blood clot. Mike achieved national fame until his death in March 1947. Now, Mike the Headless Chicken became such a legend that actually in Fruita, Colorado, there is actually a Mike the Headless Chicken Day held every year. Yeah. This can't be life. For this spotlight, I want to highlight and send a big congratulations going out to Joshua Regrelo. Remember this guy? Joshua, aka the Pan Man himself. He officially owns the Guinness World Record for the longest amount of time playing the steel pan. Non-stop. No breaks. A total of 31 hours. Crazy. Yo, Joshua, big up yourself and mad congratulations. My foodies, today, Ital is vital. That's right. I'm talking about the Ital Shack, located right there on the Bush Road, just before the Prince Bernard Bridge or just after the Prince Bernard Bridge, depending on which way you're coming from, right? Sending a big shout out to Ras Bushman, my boy Kujay, and his mom as well. If you've never had lunch at the Ital Shack, you've been missing out. Now listen, I know a lot of you guys out there super meat lovers, you can't go a day without meat. But when you want to taste something different, when you want to entice your palates on a different level, trust me, try out the Ital Shack. I'm pretty sure like 90% of the food that they cook with, locally grown, right off the hill. Amazing, healthy Ital food. Remember, Ital is vital. Big up some of the people over there at the Ital Shack. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms and make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Everything and the Truth. For today's Poor Decisions, we're going to be taking a look at the 10 most popular selling tequilas in the world. Starting off at number 10, we have Olmec Altos. Number 9, El Jimador. Number 8, Espolón. Number 7, Hornitos. Number 6, Gran Centenario. Number 5, 1800 Tequila. Number 4, Casamigos. Number 3, Patron. Number 2, Don Julio. And the number 1 selling tequila in the world goes to, drum roll please, Jose Cuervo. Wouldn't you know it? One of my favorites. Jose Cuervo has been holding down the top spot for 5 consecutive years as the number 1 selling tequila in the world. So now you know. Make your poor decision a good decision. Drink responsibly though. For today's beach of the week, we're taking it to Great Bay Beach, or as I always knew it, Tongue Beach, aka my backyard. That's where I learned how to swim. For me, growing up in Tongue, there was the uptown section of the beach, there was the midtown section of the beach, and the downtown section of the beach. But you know, we always met in the middle at the Captain Hodge Wharf, and that is really where you earn your stripes. So we're going to take a look at the beach of the week, Great Bay Beach, where you can find bars, restaurants, beach chairs, jet skis. Is so much to do, and it's amazing to see the growth and the transformation that the beach has gone through over the years. I mean, it's nothing compared to how it was when I was growing up. Back then it was more quiet, they had more trees, it wasn't as populated. But you know what? Growth is always a beautiful thing. The beach of the week, Great Bay Beach, aka my backyard, aka Tongue Beach. Today's inspirational words of the day is brought to you by Picture This Studio. Capture the moments and unforgettable memories. Love. Real, unconditional love. Hard to find. Very rare. Love doesn't run. Love stays. Love doesn't fold. Love embraces. Love is forgiving. Love sets boundaries. Love is able to be understanding in the midst of the storm, and love is able to say, let's try again. True, unconditional love most certainly is hard to find. But when you find it, you will know. I pray that you cherish it and value it to the fullest. We've now come to the end of this edition of Everything and the Truth, and I do hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, click, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure that you follow us on all social media platforms. Everything in the Truth, hosted by yours truly, Verse. Thank you guys once again for tuning in. Till next time, peace.